Two items in gaming news today. The first being Electronic Arts Origins is now banning people from games they paid for comments they made in the forums. The reason I'm smiling about this is because I made a video on Origins before. I've told people in the past numerous times, do not trust EA. They are a lying, cheating, stealing company. They have done this stuff multiple times in the past. By this stuff, I'm talking about installing malicious DRM in games and locking people out of games for comments they made in forums. Such was the case in Dragon Age 2 and Spore. And people looked at me like I was crazy. They said, oh, you're not buying Battlefield 3? What's wrong with you? You're just a complainer. And now people are getting banned. Enjoy your bans, morons. Look, alright, that was harsh, but seriously, how many times do they have to do this before people realize that EA is not a trustworthy company that should be supported at all? I mean, do they have to send viruses to people's computers? Because I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm glad now that I didn't buy Battlefield 3, even though I'm probably missing out on what looks like a pretty fun game. I didn't sink $60 into something that might be taken away from me at a moment's notice. And it's not like the people getting banned are these hackers that are somehow, stealing things from EA or causing, hacking multiplayer games and ruining it for everyone. Some of the things people have been banned for are using words like teabagging on the forums, and in one case, even posting a guide that had already been posted by an EA moderator. And these people are getting locked out of games that they paid for. Again, I'm not surprised by any of this because it's happened multiple times in the past, which is why I do not buy games from EA, and I urge people not to do so, because it's only you who's going to get fucked in the ass for it. And, but people just don't listen, do they? I mean, how many times are they going to have to do this again before people finally realize they're not a trustworthy company? In other words, two game companies have started charging money for cheat codes. These two games being Dead Rising 2 Off the Record and Saints Row 3. Now, the Dead Rising cheat codes are $4.99 for a file that is 447 kilobytes. Meaning you're basically paying for something that accesses something that's already on the disk. Now, the Saints Row 3 DLC is a little less bad because you can still unlock the cheats by beating the game without paying for the DLC. But still, they're not available to you when you buy the game, right when you buy the game, unless you buy them. I do not understand why it's become so unreasonable of a request to have a full game when you pay a full price for it. Why is that such an unreasonable request right now? Why are you called a complainer if you simply say, when I pay $60 for a game, I want a full game that I can play how I like, when I like? I just don't understand why that's so foreign to people at this point. It has nothing to do with nostalgia or wanting to go back to a certain era of gaming. It's just common sense. When you pay for something, you should get it. I mean, why is it fair that people who download a game illegally are getting better service and a better product than people who pay money for the game? How is that fair? And how do you think that's going to help the business in the long run? Eventually, people are going to get tired of this shit. Eventually people, after the fourth or fifth infraction by EA on customer rights, on consumer rights, people are going to realize that it's not worth it to buy their games. And they're going to get fucked in the end. If you want to combat piracy, make games that are worth buying. If you want to combat used sales, make games that have enough replay value where you won't have to turn it in after playing the 3-hour campaign, where you'll want to go back to it later. You'll put it on your shelf and say, maybe I'll do another playthrough as a different type of character. I don't want to turn that in. That's how you combat used sales, not by fucking paying customers in the ass. But I mean, I can understand why they're doing this because no one seems to care. They keep buying these games from companies they know are gonna screw them in the ass, and then they turn around and wonder why they're getting fucked in the ass. It just baffles me. Again, I missed out on Battlefield 3. I am missing out on Battlefield 3. It looks like a fun game. But I'm also not wasting $60 on something that can be taken away from me because I said a bad word.